Hi guys, my name's Pedro. I'm a teacher here at LTC Highville, and today I'm going to be telling you about my personal routine here and what it's like to teach here in Astana, Kazakhstan. Please enjoy the video. So what made me want to become an English teacher? Well, I was actually originally motivated because I hurt my back, funnily enough. I've always enjoyed English and that kind of thing, but I was working in a very different role. I had an injury which made it untenable for me to do a physical labour job, and so I thought, okay, well, I was in a foreign country, I was in Italy, and I thought I have an opportunity to teach English here, and I found various customers around the town in which I lived, and that's how it all began. I've been working at LTC for almost a year and a half. I arrived during the winter, which was a real big shock to me to see so much snow. I've never seen so much snow in my life. Everywhere that I'd lived previously, it was just like a thin layer during the winter if we were lucky, but here it was like everywhere. It was very exciting. It was a great novelty for me. I haven't travelled around Kazakhstan an awful lot, so I can only speak to life in Astana. For me, it's actually my first experience in a relatively big city. This is the biggest city I've ever lived in, so that aspect was quite interesting for me. There's a lot of accessibility for anything you might want relatively nearby. Things don't close at a specific time. So for me, that was a big shock, even regardless of the fact that I'm in another country. I found Kazakh people to be very warm and welcoming. Very pleasant overall. I found that young people speak English more so than people led me to believe before I came here, which is good, it's pleasant. Everywhere I've been here, I've had overall pleasant experiences. So I quite like listening to audiobooks, I quite like listening to podcasts and going on walks. Given the city is very flat, it's very convenient for that sort of thing because there's not very many big hills that I can get stuck on when I'm on a walk. I like playing basketball, and you can do that quite easily here in the spring and summer. Not so easily unless you find a court in the winter, like an indoor court, because it's too snowy and slippery. So, although I grew up in the UK, my mother is from Italy and I was born in Italy, and in Italy all the cartoons are animes. All of them are from Japan because it's something to do with the main TV channel Rai could only buy cheap shows. Shows from Japan were relatively inexpensive, and so as a result, animes are hugely popular in Italy, and we used to watch Italian television at home a lot, and it's one of the ways that I kept my native language, because I kept watching things in it. And so I'm a big fan of old school animes like Dragon Ball, Detective Conan, Doraemon, these kinds of things. So yeah, I do quite enjoy animes. I haven't been able to learn an awful lot, and it's due to poor effort on my part. I haven't spent an awful lot of time trying to learn it. However, I do use Duolingo in Russian. I would if it was available in Kazakh, but however, some of the staff here at LTC, they've taught me some things. I'm very proud that I learnt to count in Kazakh. I think Kazakh has a very cool number system. So I remember bir, yeka, uch, tort, bes, alta, jeta, segas, tochas, on, and then on bir, on yeka, etc. And then jirma, otus, kuruk, yelu, alpus, jetpus, sexy and toxanjus. And yeah, I thought I really enjoyed that I got taught that. I think it is nice when you get to exchange languages in that way. Okay, so I was just laughing because upon like hearing the question, the thing that comes to my mind is someone was telling me that what a lot of students enjoy about my lessons when they were asked is anecdotes and stories from my life, but that is not what I would say. Generally speaking, is what I think is an effective teaching technique, although sometimes that can be like useful just to make a lesson more engaging. If someone's like following a joke or a story, then that might be helpful. However, what I find most helpful in general is to first ask questions such as what someone is trying to achieve, what level they're trying to get to. I think at the very beginning of learning a language, as soon as someone is able to read, making them read and seeing how they pronounce words, if they understand what's being said, and really making sure that people are sort of like processing the language correctly. And sort of asking questions so that I'm sure that they're understanding what's happening in a particular text. I actually think that's really, really helpful. If anyone's ever sort of lucky enough to have someone sit with them and make them read out loud, I think that's like a massive, massive benefit to language learning. I think as someone progresses to like a higher level, you can have a more like free-flowing conversation, and you can try and make someone feel as comfortable as possible so they can express themselves better, even if the grammar isn't always like perfect. The fact that someone feels comfortable expressing themselves in another language is really helpful, but at the beginning stages it's a lot more about giving people the vocabulary and the grammar tools in order to be able to express themselves. Okay, so challenges in teaching students is if someone doesn't have a clear goal for themselves and why they want to learn something, then the motivation, there might be lapses in motivation. They might not really commit to it because they don't know where they want to get to in the end. And the truth about language learning is that it's a long process, yes? It's not a very immediate thing. You can certainly learn things every day. However, learning, a few things every day won't get you to, fluency immediately. And so it can be difficult to keep people motivated if they don't have clear goals, which is why I really like to ask people, what point are you trying to get to? What do you want to achieve with this? When people have a very clear goal in mind as to why they want to learn a language, then it's so much easier to get them to the next stage. I can't remember who, but there's this quote that says, give a man a why and they can bear almost any how, which means that if someone knows why they're doing something, then they will push themselves really hard to achieve what it is they need to do. The official answer to this is tests. You cannot assess progress simply by one person judging a person by how they are listening in a single conversation or how they're speaking in a single conversation, because this might not be objective. If you don't do tests on somebody where they're in a test environment, then you are subject to bias, which means your personal thoughts about a particular person or situation might lead you to judge it incorrectly. So one of the things I really like about teaching is that we do regular progress tests, we do end of course tests, and these give us a very good idea of what people have managed to learn from the syllabus that we have been teaching. So in the mornings, I'm already aware of what classes I'm going to do and all that sort of thing. Usually at the beginning of the week, I've planned out activities for my lessons and I've checked what pages we're going to be on and things like that. Then after I arrive at work, I check with my co-teacher what tasks we're doing. We go over who would be best to go first for different lessons, and then we steadily get to work and do our lessons. So sometimes before or after work, you know, I might go for a walk somewhere around the city. I might do some exercise, that kind of thing. I'll spend time with my friends, some of which I've made in the city, some of which I knew before, such as Dan, who's also a teacher here. And that sort of thing, really. Nothing, maybe I'll go to watch a film in English, which is occasionally on at the Chaplin Cinema, something like that. Okay, so if you're just starting, I think the focus should be vocabulary and simple grammar rules to learn some of the basic tenses and you know, when those are used, as well as learning as much vocabulary as you can. There are plenty of resources you can use to do this, but obviously lessons will help massively. Okay, so why do I enjoy being a teacher? First of all, I do really enjoy being a teacher. There's different aspects to it for sure. Part of it is it's really nice connecting with a different range of people who are all trying to achieve different things and helping them in one very particular aspect of their learning process. That's obviously thrilling, and it can be, you know, just very fulfilling as well. Like, you're helping someone get to the next stage at something that they're trying to improve to, and helping them bridge the gap to get to the next level. That's great. And also, it's such a large language. If I'm not mistaken, it's the largest language in terms of vocabulary. So there's always some old words that I don't know. Just the other day, I heard someone say "relly," and I didn't know what that meant. And I was like, what? And like, how? And it's Australian slang for relative. So all the time, I'm still learning English all the time, even though it's my main language. English is the international language of commerce, which basically means it's the main language for people to do business in, and you will need it in a range of different professions, and lots of different universities will expect you to know this language. And if you're looking for information about any particular subject online, you'll find it more easily in English than you would in any other language. So yeah, for this reason. And sometimes, even when I'm listening to, if I'm listening to an Italian academic talking about a particular subject, sometimes I know the ones who speak English because they're talking about a subject that mainly exists within the Anglosphere, which is like the list of the countries in which English is spoken as a main language first. And yeah, it's so notable when people are sort of like plugged in to that particular culture that comes with the language. Guys, I want to say thank you very much for listening to the video we've made today. Please consider coming to LTC for a demonstration trial lesson for free. We'll have an idea about your level doing this, and you'll have a really great time and enjoy a lesson with us. So that's it for today. Take care, bye bye. I wish you the best in all your endeavors. See you later.